All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Tim Marlowe with Be the Better Local, and we have our special guest here, Jake Nyman with the Olive Group. Say hello.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, of course, man. And you didn't have to travel too far, and we'll get into that here in just a few minutes. But thank you, Andy, of course, with Andy Vargo with the Aqua Career for always being here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, and he's very close to me, so I'm just excited about how close
This is the part of the podcast where we spoon.
It's brotherly love.
It is.
We love that.
What podcast bring this to you, all right?
Right. So it is February 11th, and so we want to be able to part of what our podcast is about is that we like to highlight local businesses, nonprofits, musicians, artists, and just just fantastic locals that are just doing great things in the community. And of course, this is why we have Jake here.
Right.
Awesome.
So we're going to learn a lot about Jake here. We're going to learn everything from his family life to business. So we're going to just dive right into it, my friend.
Let's do it.
So one of the things about your business is marketing. So I just want to, since we're a marketing company as well, I honestly just want to learn more about it. So let's talk about let's talk about marketing here in Tacoma today.
So marketing Tacoma it's interesting. You know, we're the small little market. We're the B market compared to Seattle, right? So we get a lot of folks who are in Seattle who won't consider working with agencies or working with marketing companies that aren't in Seattle, right? So we're always on that uphill climb.
That's crazy.
Right? It's right. They, for some reason, they think that because they're in Tacoma, that we're in Tacoma, that we can't provide the same quality of services as they can in Seattle. And it's not that we're not wanting to work with folks in Seattle or they're not necessarily wanting to work with us. It's at the end of the day, we love Tacoma and we love the lifestyle here. We love the business climate here.
Yeah.
We love the opportunities in Tacoma and also the opportunities for expanding the way Tacoma is to more people. We want to offer Tacoma as this great gem of the state of Washington, right?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic place to live and an awesome place to do business. And, we moved here about 7 years ago from Seattle. And I tell people we upgraded when we came to Tacoma. And this is 2012, 2013, things were kind of like starting to flow.
Definitely
Tacoma.
Pre-Point Ruston.
Pre-Point Ruston, yep. There was like a little bit going on out there, but not much yet, right? They just finished all their work in downtown Tacoma. There's some stuff going on.
Still coming to life. A lot of restaurants weren't quite open up yet.
Right. But we from Seattle felt like there was a lot of opportunities in Tacoma, in Pierce County in general. And I didn't grow up here, but I felt like this would be a great place to live with our family. And the business climate was awesome here. People were accepting of new businesses. They love new businesses. And there's a great community of marketing and strategic stuff going on, advertising agencies here in Tacoma that do great work. And we felt like the stuff that we could do would complement that.
For sure, yeah.
Even though there's competition amongst the agencies that do the same kind of work that we do, there's also this camaraderie, them versus us, And so I meet on a pretty regular basis with many of the other marketing agency owners here in Tacoma. We call it a Creative Business Owners Group. And they're everyone I compete with, but they're also people that we're championing the cause with,
Right.
So it's been a lot of fun to kind of see that develop. And Rusty George has been a big part of that. Rusty's been kind of a staple of creative work here in Tacoma. Shout out to Rusty. But marketing in Tacoma has been fun. It's been really interesting. There's a lot of opportunities. The port and transportation and logistics has been a big part of our business. Matter of fact, last year I was the president of the Transportation Club at Tacoma, which is the largest transportation club in the U.S. Right here in Tacoma.
Yeah.
Many people don't know about it. There's about 550 members in that club. And, it's been really great to get into that industry because I just heard yesterday from the Northwest Seaport Alliance CEO. He was talking about the impact of the port in Washington's economy, and it is the biggest driver in the entire state.
Wow.
Is the ports.
Right here in Tacoma.
Right. And Tacoma and Seattle, they joined this Northwest Seaport Alliance together, And, there's so many opportunities to be involved in things that are not only port related, but also in general, those services that are connected to stuff that's happening at the port, right?
Right.
This kind of like trickle down. And there's new businesses coming online all the time, which gives us more opportunities as a marketing agency to help if we understand transportation and freight forwarding and how trucking and logistics and transloading and all that stuff works. It gives us the ability to be able to talk the lingo and also be able to meet them where they're at and help them grow in their business. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I think about transportation just because we're in the ride share a lot, the industry a lot, but thinking about the ports, man, is such a money driving for the community. And I didn't think about that because all I talk about is all the local owners, like all the local businesses.
Right,
And we're excited because there's not really a big business that's here in Tacoma anymore. I mean, State Farm's leaving, DaVita's leaving. And so one of the things that I guess I'm prideful of in Tacoma and being a marketing agency in Tacoma is that it's all local business.
It's all local. There's a lot of local business
Yeah.
here. Yep.
Yeah.
You have really big companies like Tacoma Maritime, which are now moving to downtown Tacoma. They
Oh,
were in
nice.
Federal Way, and they've had operations going on here in the port for a long time. But they're moving to downtown Tacoma. They're going to make
good.
their kind of headquarters here in Tacoma, which is awesome. They're a big company, very big. A lot of freight forwarding and moving goods from here to Alaska and Hawaii and other places. But you've got some great historical companies that are working in the port, and just kind of coming back to your question about marketing in Tacoma, there's a lot of opportunities if you understand the culture of Tacoma, right? It's not Seattle, it's not high tech yet. It's coming.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we are right now partnering with a company called Humming. They're a new tech firm that's just launched here in Tacoma. They're in one of the buildings here in downtown, and they are helping making advertising easier. And Bill and Jill that both run Humming. In fact, I'm going to a launch party for them tonight. They're launching V1 of their app, but they've been amazing, and they're really like pushing tech in Tacoma, along with some other companies that are kind of like seeing, hey, there's opportunities here.
Oh, yeah.
That we never thought about, and Tacoma gets such a bad rap.
Yeah, I don't get it.
At times, I love it. I'm kind of glad that it gets a bad rap because we all get to enjoy it as as
kind of a
Tacoma is.
protective layer. It just keeps the riffraff out. Really.
At times, you're right. You're right, and to see Tacoma kind of flourishing, and you see folks from Seattle like, why did I never give Tacoma a shot? And I felt that way too when we moved here. I was like, we were like, I don't know about Tacoma. And then we came down and we were checking it out like, man, this place is fantastic. Why did I never, I never even considered it.
Right.
And now I'm so glad we're here. I really am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look at the marketing scene and everything that's going on with the port and all the growth, who's the right audience for you to reach out to help with their marketing?
Right. You're talking about for the
is
for business?
Yeah. Is it better for are you able to help smaller business, or does it need to be a bigger business? Who's the right mix for that might need marketing help in Tacoma?
Right. So, it can be mom and pop businesses and all the way up to companies like Tote, hundreds of millions, if not billions, right? And in Tacoma, I feel like there are a lot of small business. There's a lot of small business in Tacoma, which is kind of what makes the fabric of the city work, right?
Yeah, all the
It's small
different districts,
business. And, many of those companies are looking inward at, buyers, either business to business buyers or business to consumer buyers that are here locally.
Right.
But there's also companies that are, expanding and looking outside of Tacoma. There's a manufacturing company that does like plastics. They do plastic manufacturing in South Tacoma. They're called Visual Options. And for them, like they're doing these amazing displays and things for T-Mobile and for Starbucks. So they're doing stuff on big scales for larger companies, but they're also doing small signs for like the side of your building, and they're doing kind of both, and they're a good kind of example of a company that's looking at small business marketing here in Tacoma, but also looking outward. And for Olive Group, our company, we love to be able to work with, primarily business to consumer, like retail service. There's a lot of that here in Tacoma that's good for us. Also, transportation and logistics has been great. Understanding the industry really helps with that. And then also, tourism. We've been working with some small cities in the area in the state of Washington on tourism, and that's been fun because BD Local and, a product that we have is called Clever Neighbor allows us to be able to kind of combine services and be able to promote things going on locally in these other cities. And working with tourism in cities in the state of Washington gives us kind of a little bit of more leverage on understanding what the cities need and what people are looking for in those cities.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, being able to rank or advertise locally, specifically ranking locally, is very geo-specific. So if we're looking for, say I'm a consumer and I'm looking for a great fresh produce in Tacoma, right? And I'm going to use the word Tacoma when I'm looking for that, right? I'm not just going to say fresh produce and, get something in
Amazon
LA
Fresh.
or
Right,
Amazon Fresh, right? I'm looking for somewhere locally that I can go to. And so we work with one of our clients is Tacoma Boys, and they're a great local company, been here, 30 plus years. And we've had so much fun, like finding ways to connect people locally that want local, fresh, organic produce, but they don't necessarily want to go, and I won't name drop any big box stores, but they don't necessarily want to go to the big box stores.
Sure.
They'd like to find something local, especially for families that want, quality food for their kids. And we've been able to kind of like connect those people together by being able to rank their content for very geo-specific words.
Yeah. So we're talking about all the business side of and what Jake brings to the table here, and not only the Tacoma, but the South Sound and Washington area, and obviously outside of Washington as well.
For sure.
Let's talk a little bit about just your business in general, so they understand more about Olive Group and maybe your background on what got you here.
Yeah, so 15 years ago, I started Olive Group, and I started it just out of a little side bedroom in our house. It really started from a need. I was working with a cluster of 5 radio stations in Los Angeles, and there was really a need for advertisers that were doing radio advertising, and radio at that point was kind of transitioning. Podcasting had started, but it wasn't really a thing at that point, right? Radio was still on the cusp of still being viable, right? And there were a lot of advertisers that were advertising in radio, but they had no web presence. They didn't know how to build a web presence, and you'd think this was like 2004, 2005. That they would have had some of that stuff. But after the dot-com bubble in 2001, people are like, I don't know if the maybe it's never going to exist. It's just going to be this fad. Obviously, we know it's not been a fad, right? And so, I started helping businesses that really needed a web presence. And after doing that for about 5 years, I realized I needed more. I needed to understand more. So that's when I went back to school and got my master's degree in business, specifically electronic business. So I want to understand how online business functioned and how to capitalize an online business. Not just e-commerce, but how to, get found in online business, how to advertise, how to talk about yourself, how to determine who your target audience is. All these things that are so important for online business because it's a big, mad world, and we want to be able to be of service to those who need our services. So Olive Group went from in a second bedroom, this is small time helping people build websites to, we moved the business here in 2013. We moved to Tacoma, and at that point we were using one of the condos that we have as an office, and it was okay, but it was residential, and I didn't really enjoy people coming over, business clients, because it was a residential spot. Right? So we thought, well, geez, we need something. We need to formalize this. If this is going to be what I do for the rest of my life, and I love to do it, how are we going to do this? And we decided that going forward with finding a commercial property was going to be our next step. So it's been interesting. So now we're
and this is this building.
That's this building.
That's this building. So this is the first commercial building that you got for Olive.
The first commercial building, yep. So we decided when we were going to go and buy a commercial building, we need to start another business. So maybe I can call myself a serial entrepreneur, but we started another business to kind of help separate assets from the marketing business and the real estate buying and managing business. And so when we separated the two, I'm essentially leasing for myself, right? So
Yeah,
Olive
I
Group
understand.
leases space in the building from the other company that I have. And it just kind of keeps taxes and, business accounts and
Right.
bank accounts, all this stuff separate.
Keeps everything nice and tidy.
Yeah, it does. And it was a big leap to go from owning a small, fourplex to owning a small fourplex and a commercial building, right? And there's been challenges with that. We bought this building that was in pretty bad disrepair, and we bought it with current tenants that weren't willing to leave. So there was challenges there.
Growing pains.
There
That's
was
all.
definitely growing pains.
That's all it
And
is.
maybe another podcast we can talk about the growing
Sure.
pains of buying and managing commercial real estate. But
Sure.
we needed a formalized office, and we felt like it was a good step in the right direction. There was opportunities in Tacoma, and we chose the area in Tacoma that we felt like we could afford, but wasn't an area that wouldn't be good for business.
Right.
We wanted it to be considered downtown business corridor, but we couldn't afford Pacific Avenue. I'd love to buy something down there, but we couldn't afford it. And Olive Group was small enough, and it still is small enough, that we felt like it didn't need to be a massive building. We looked at some of the co-working space, and there's challenges with co-working. There's the privacy is a challenge. Being able to develop and grow a business is a challenge. Sharing space is a challenge.
Right.
And so we decided we needed something on our own.
Yeah.
And so we decided to invest in Tacoma.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I like to talk to people about and really showcase and promote, is that we're investing in Tacoma.
Yeah. Because it's not just moving your business here. I mean, you've moved your family. You're a family man. I mean, you have multiple businesses. Now you're a property owner, multiple properties. So it's definitely a time and financial investment. So
For sure.
maybe highlight on that real quick on the value of looking forward in life. Not only maybe I should just set this off next year to do it or something like that, but really looking forward and planning investments with what we can do today with buildings.
Yeah, there's opportunities in Tacoma. It's expensive, but there are opportunities in Tacoma, especially for small business owners who want to have their own space or be able to consider having a space that they maybe split and lease out half and they use the other half. This building was set to where there was essentially 4 units in the building. It could have been 2 floors or it could have been all one building, but we decided to manage the size and the amount of money that we were biting off all at one time and to have income that we would keep it as the 4 units as it was. And it's been fun. It's really been fun. It's been fun. I don't think you can do it without having a setting your pride aside and being okay with driving to the dump and dumping garbage and picking up garbage on the ground and doing the landscaping on your own, and if things need fixed or the painting needs done or the roof needs repair, you better believe your butt's the one that's going to do it, because you don't have the funds to pay other big companies to do it.
I mean, you would love to support your local businesses, but at the same time, they have to be able to fund their business, and it costs money. So at any point in time, it looked like you're figuring it out just like the rest of us.
That's the only way to do it.
Don't if you don't have the how now, don't worry about it. But if you got the intuition to do
you have
something,
to save those dollars where you need to pay a service for the things that are outside your skill set.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like if we need to do electrical or we need to put a new HVAC system or
Right.
I don't think I can figure that out.
Right.
There's just some things that you can't do on your own. But there are things like, hey, I need to paint the walls. Well, let's see, who can I have paint? Oh, wait, I have 2 hands. Why can't I do this, right? And maybe I'm not the best pro at painting, but I'm going to get good at it when I'm painting an entire building,
Yeah.
By the end of it.
By the end, you're like, well, when I started, I wasn't so good. But now I'm feeling pretty confident in this,
And now you can add another skill set to the, I've
and
raised my skill.
You can't learn how to do something without doing it yourself.
Right.
You can talk about it. I have friends who talk about investing. They talk about putting their money where their mouth is, but at the end of the day, you've got to.
It's a risk. You got to do it.
It's
Yeah.
a
decision.
It is, and people talk about it being a mindset to go forward with, big risks and taking the risk to do something. But at the end of the day, you really have to have the right mindset when you go into it. You can't go in and say, "Well, I'm just going to hire it out, and I'm going to get all these tenants who pay me all this money, and it's going to be fine." It's not going to be fine. A lot of the times, it's not.
It may take you 8 months, a year to get that first tenant.
Right. Yeah.
It might. And if you have to bust your butt and drive Uber for 50 hours a week to make it happen, well then that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
And people love to see the success story and think, well, that just worked out for him. I can't do that. Or those things didn't fall in place for me. And they ignore the fact that you're taking loads to the dump. You're doing the painting yourself. You didn't just walk into this gym from a lotto winning. There's a lot of work you put in to get to where you are, and that's how you make it happen.
Right. It's fun and challenging
Yeah.
all at the same time.
Well, let's keep going with that, Andy. I think it's great because I think that you have, and I know you have to have a great support group while you were doing all of these transitions. You have, growing either a business to owning property to moving. And so let's talk a little bit, and you don't have to go into too much detail, but just talk a little bit about your family because I know you have a great support system there.
Yeah. So
Because you had to bring them all the way up here, right?
I did, yeah. So we'll start with like the immediate, and then we can expand off
Okay.
of there if we have time. So I've got 3 little ones.
Okay.
Littles, as I like to call them, the
littles.
littles. I try to drop them off at school every day because it's important as a family man to not get business in the way of spending time with your kids. And I think a lot of business owners, including myself, could work 16 hours a day and not see my family and
Easily.
probably be somewhat okay with that, at times. But I have to remind myself, my family's my priority. What else am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Right.
Why else am I trying to build, real estate portfolio and grow a business that's successful? I'm doing this because of my family and my faith.
Yeah.
And if I'm not focused on those things and I'm setting those aside because I'm like, well, I'm making more money so that our family can be happier. Well, you don't spend any time with your family. That's a problem, right? And so the balance there's always a challenge for entrepreneurs. It really is. And I enjoy listening to Gary Vee and his perspective on family life and everything. And I disagree with a lot of that, but at times he's got very good points as well. But I found that my family is most important. I have 3 littles, 10, 6, and 8. 10, 8, and 6, I guess I should say. My youngest boy is about to be 7.
Okay.
And, he's a little boy, and you get in this mode where the kids are growing and they're just doing their thing and we're doing sports and all that stuff on the weekends. But then he's a little boy and he asks me the most innocent little questions sometimes, or wants to crawl into bed with me in the morning. And those are the times that if I was just up and going and not thinking about anything but business, I would miss all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they're so little for such a short amount of time.
You blink and that's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. And you talk to people that are in their 70s and 80s, right? Or even older who are at, health facilities and things. And you say, what do you regret most? And many of those that were in business say, I regret not spending time with my kids when they were little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a short amount of time and then it's gone and you're never getting it back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because one of those mindsets you have to have as an entrepreneur is that it's only for a season. So you never put a time limit on how long it's going to take you to grow your business. It's only for a season. How much time? Well, it has to take enough time.
Right.
And so it could take 6 months for a grind. It could take you 16 years to get to where you thought it would go. And then, like you're bringing up, at the blink of an eye, they're gone. And so off doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Before you know
you
it.
get some teenagers, don't you?
Well, my youngest is 17, but my older ones are 21 and 22.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
It's like they're getting married. It's just it's like, wow, how'd this happen?
Yeah. Wow.
Right. And you think, my oldest is in 5th grade right now, right? And I think, okay, when I was in 5th grade, I was thinking about my mom, how old she was. She's a young mom. And I was thinking about, man, when she turned 40, I thought she was so old. I was like, you're like over the hill old, Now I'm going to be 40 this next year. I'm like, geez, I still feel like I'm 16 sometimes,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
my body isn't like as it was when I was 16, but I certainly, I'll wake up in the morning and be like, I'm ready to go. I'm like,
Right.
let's conquer the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And, I think about my family and the challenges that we've had in divorce and both my wife's side and my side, and growing up mainly with our moms, both of us, and looking at life from the perspective of a woman. I grew up with my mom primarily. I love my dad, and I got to spend summers with him and weekends with him and things. But I primarily spent most of my time with my mom.
Sure.
And she was a huge influence on me. She started a grocery delivery business when I was a kid. She and my grandmother were going to deliver groceries to people's houses. They were going to call her business, and she was going to take an order, and then she was going to go to the grocery store and shop and deliver their groceries. Yesterday, I had Amazon deliver my groceries to my house,
Right.
for the first time ever, and I thought it was amazing. And I thought to myself, man, my mom created this business in 1987,
It was way ahead of the curve. Yeah.
Way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Too far. I
Yeah.
think
Way
it was
too
too far. Too far.
Right.
And just how her influence in that she was
Yeah.
a paralegal, and she loved dealing with folks who had challenges in their life, and her passion for that really sparked my passion for people and my love for getting to know people and helping people that don't have everything together, don't have their life all in order. And my wife is a trauma nurse, and she does work in the ER at a big hospital in Seattle. And the stuff that she sees, on a regular basis, I just cannot believe sometimes that stuff that people go through and see that stuff and they're okay with it. And she's okay with it.
Yeah.
And I just find that fascinating. But on the flip side, I'm also one who maybe isn't in for the blood and guts that she sees and the challenges, but the people is what she and I both agree is God's given us this challenge of taking care of people, whether they look like us or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Totally. Well, Jake, before we head out, we're going to get some contact information from you. I know
Okay.
it's on the bottom of the screen there on the scroll text.
Sure.
But I want you to kind of just leave a golden nugget or something for our audience as we leave. So definitely check out Jake Nyman's information that's on the bottom of the screen there, Olive Group, and we'll make sure that we have you tagged in the Facebook feed as well.
Perfect.
And before you say that little nugget, I don't have my phone on me.
Hey, put me on the spot here.
Right?
That's
And I
good.
want to give
That's
you a
good.
couple extra seconds to think about it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show you that we actually added Olive Group to the BD Local app, and I'll have a screen record of it for you. So under Shop Local, go all the way down. We have marketing and consulting here, and we have Olive Group right there.
Oh, look at that.
With all of your contact information, being able to
Thank you,
contact
sir.
you, business hours, and everything that you need to, in
Awesome.
order for you to contact Jake here with Olive Group.
Love it.
So
Makes it easy.
definitely, it makes it easy. So I know all you guys that already have the app downloaded, we're adding new stuff every week. So definitely check out Olive Group, which is Jake Nyman here. So what do you
you.
got with us, man?
I just say for those that are really wanting to succeed in business is don't forget about the needs of your family. For those entrepreneurs that get caught into, well, there's an opportunity, I got to chase this, and there's another opportunity. It's going to make, honey, we're going to make $10,000 extra next month from this, But what are you sacrificing for that? I just want to encourage other entrepreneurs who are out there to really, take a step back sometimes. And I'm all for working super hard when you're on, but when you're off, turn the phone off, or put it on pause, and just take some time for the family. Because, like I said, even if you don't have kids, your significant others, they want your time and they love your time.
Yeah.
And if they can be encouraged by your spirit and your personality, then God's given us this ability to really connect with people, and we've got to do it. It's an important part of not only growing ourselves personally, but also growing your business is being healthy.
Yeah.
And that comes with spending time with your family.
Having
So,
that balance, man.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Jake,
You're
for
welcome.
coming on board. Olive Group
welcome.
here. So if you have any consulting or marketing needs, definitely contact Jake here. And we'll be right back with our
Awesome.
next segment. So thank
Thanks,
you so
guys.
much.
Thank you.